Hello, my dears. In today's class, we shall learn about a new chapter in your science, that is body movements and joints. In this chapter, you will learn about movements, that is body movements, and also joints. My dears, you just imagine whenever you join yoga class, you will do some exercises. Is it? How will you do? You will do by bending your knees, or by bending your hands, or by bending yourself towards the ground. Is it? How is it possible to bend? Yes, your bending is possible just because the joints present in your body. Then what is a joint? A joint is a place where two bones are joined together. Then you can observe it in your knees, shoulders, and also elbows. Is it? Then how many types of joints are there in our body? Yes, there are two types of joints, that is immovable joints and movable joints. Immovable joints are the joints that allow no movement of the body parts. These are also called as fixed joints. Example, skull. It is a fixed joint. And movable joints. The name itself refers that movable joints are the joints that help us to move forward or backward. Here, movable joints are of four types: hinge joint, ball and socket joint, pivot joint, and gliding joint. In today's class, we shall learn about these joints one by one. Movable joints. You know that the place where two bones meet is a joint, is it? Whenever we can bend or twist our body, it is because of our joints which are present inside our body. We have joints in our neck, shoulder, elbow, waist, backbone, and many more that helps us to move. But all these joints do not move in the same way. So all these joints are not in the same way. Look at how you can move your elbow. You can move it up and also downward. Once your elbow is fully extended, you cannot extend it any further. It can only go back up to this position. This is the only movement that the elbow has. What else do you know in your real life around you which moves like this? Yes, that is nothing but the door. Is it? All of you have door in your home? A door can go as far as this to open, and it can go behind that. It cannot go behind that. How is it possible for the door to open and close? It can go behind that either. It is a joint on the door too. To attach the door to the wall, we have to put in hinges in at least two places. Is it? Look at the door. You will be able to see a hinge like this in your home also. The hinge is what attaches the door to the wall and let it move forward and backward. This is where we can observe in our door. Like that only, the elbow joint is similar to that of a hinge. What else moves like this? Knees. Yes, our knee is also having a hinge joint which can move backward or forward. The knee joint is also a hinge joint. What else do you have in joints? Think for yourself. Yes, you have smaller hinge joints in your fingers and toes. Is it? You know one more movement, that is elbow. You can rotate it a half circle. How come? There are two bones in the arms which slide over each other, and this bone is called the radius and another bone is called as ulna. There are two bones in the arm which slide over each other. You can observe this in your video how they are sliding each other. There is a lot more going on in these joints, but you can learn in your further higher classes when you will get older. What did we just learn? Hinge joint allow one kind of movement only. The hinge joint is similar to the door hinges. Elbow, knee and finger joints are called as hinge joints. Now look at how your neck moves. It can move forward and also backward. It can move from left to right and right to left and also sideways. Is it? Then which kind of joint it is? This is because it has a different kind of joint other than hinge joint. In fact, there are many different joints in the neck. Let us see what are they and also learn some of the doctor languages here. You just look at the bone in the neck. There are 7 bones. They are called cervical bones. They are called cervical bones and the doctors have named these bones from C1 to C7. You can observe this in a video. This gives our neck different rotations. We know that the neck rotates. We are talking about the sideways and also move backward and forward. These two bones together form the pivot joint, that is C1 and C2 bones. You can observe this in a video. These two are called pivot joints which look like a pivot inserted in a circular ring. Now we need something that goes inside this ring C1. So here C2 which is inserting into the C1 and it looks like a rod which is inserted in a circular ring. This is nothing but a pivotal joint. Now you can see how it looks, just like a rod which is inserted inside the circular ring. What about the other movement of neck? This is done through the C3 to C7 bones which help other movements of a neck. What are those? Because of these C3 to C7 bones, you can look up and down or you can touch your ear to your shoulders on each side of a neck. Okay, this is how our neck bones are helping us to make some movements for ourselves. What did we just learn? Pivotal joints allow rotational movement. In a pivotal joint, a cylindrical bone rotates in a ring. The first two bones of a neck form a pivotal joint. Then, how can you move your shoulders? You can move it up and down, side to side or all around a circle. This is different kind of joint called as ball and socket joint. Whereas in a socket, a ball has been inserted. By staying inside the socket, the ball can move up and down, side to side or round and round. You can observe this in a video. Carefully observe how it is rotating. Round and round. This is different kind of joint called the ball and socket joint. The shoulder joint is like this. Let us see what is what here. Collarbone and shoulder blade. In between these two, our arm is present. Is it? Where is your shoulder joint? You can observe it. The end of the arm bone has the ball. The part where it joins the shoulder blade as a socket. This is called shoulder joint, where you can imagine the ball and socket inside a ball. Can you guess what happens? This is the normal condition where the ball is in a socket. When the ball comes out of the socket, it is called a dislocation. Dislocation can happen if you fall really hard on your shoulders. It pains a lot and dislocated shoulders looks really different. You can observe this in a video. Doctors can pull the arm around carefully and pop the ball back into the socket when this happens to you after falling hardly on your shoulders. How the doctor locate this? The hip joint is a ball and socket joint too. Can you make out where the joint is? Yes, observe this video. Look at the separated hip joint. You can see the ball and socket here. This is the hip joint with the ball in the socket. A nasty fall on your hip can dislocate the hip bone also as the ball come out of the socket, and this can be detected by using X-ray. Spot the dislocated hip in a X-ray. Just observe how it has dislocated, and the surgeons can try and fix it by rotating the leg carefully. What did we just learn? Ball and socket joints allow movement in all directions. The rounded end of one bone fits into the cavity of the other bone, which is called ball and socket joint. Example, shoulder and hip joints. Our body contains several different kinds of joints. We have studied 3 kinds of joints: hinge joints, pivotal joints, and ball and socket joints. In our next class, we shall learn